Good evening. Before I begin, I want to ask if some of you would do me a favor and turn on your camera. And it means more to me and the people who minister if we can see faces. You don't have to have a beat face, you don't have to have your hair done, but it makes it easier for me to get through what I need to get through when I can see faces. Taylor, I made my announcement. Can everyone hear me? Because I have to hold the mic like this tonight. I just ask that people would do me a favor and come on camera because it just makes it hard when you are talking to a bunch of blank screens. And it would really mean a lot to me. Um, I don't know, my tech person is not here with me to Morgan to make sure. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great, Dr. Rahson.
Okay, I don't see cameras coming on, but I'm just going to do the best that I can. Thanks, Dad, for answering the call to turn on your camera. Okay, if I don't know, nobody else is paying attention. My father is here. Okay, so let me begin. So I don't have Morgan with me here tonight. So tonight is worship. So the Bible gives us many examples of women who worship, but for the sake of brevity, I just want to share three characteristics we can find in them. The first one is women who worship are focused on God and not themselves. Two examples of this that stand out to me are Hannah and Mary. Both of them had similar songs of praise in response to what God had done in their lives. Hannah had been barren, but God gave her the child she prayed for. After weaning the boy, she took him to the temple and dedicated his life to the Lord. There she erupted in praise to God, but her focus was not on her son or herself. Her focus was on her God. In 1 Samuel 2:2, we see, there is no one holy like the Lord. There is no one besides you. There is no rock like our God. Likewise, Mary, who had been betrothed but not yet married, received news that she would be with child and that he would be the Son of the Most High. Most of us would have fallen apart at such news, most likely due to shame, but Mary responded with worship. And Mary said, my soul glorifies the Lord, and my spirit rejoices in God, my Savior, for he has been mindful of the humble state of his servant. From now on, all generations will call me blessed, for the mighty one has done great things for me. Holy is his name. At first glance, we may think Mary is focused on herself, but remember that she had been given news that could have led to her death under the law. Her focus here is not on herself, but on her God, whom she trusted. She went on to sing, his mercy extends to those who fear him from generation to generation. He has performed mighty deeds with his arms. He has scattered those who are proud in their inmost thoughts. He has brought down rulers from their thrones, but has lifted up to the humble. That's Luke 1:50-52. Mary gave all her praise to God, who fills the hungry with good things. Women who worship aren't self-absorbed and focused on themselves. They're not focused on their looks. They're not focused on their stuff, their entertainment, their needs. They keep their eyes on the kingdom and worship God for who he is. Now let me take you to point two. Point two, women who worship aren't concerned with what others think. Again, I say, and you can put this in the chat, women who worship aren't concerned with what others think. Deborah was a woman before her time. She was a wife. She was a prophetess, a judge, and warrior all in one. She was so confident in leadership that her commander wouldn't even go into battle without her. We see that Judges 4:8, when the battle was over and their enemies had been defeated, Deborah didn't hold back from praising her God. No matter who was listening, hear this, you kings. Listen, you rulers. I will sing to the Lord. I will sing. I will make music to the Lord, the God of Israel. Judges 5:3 tells us Deborah went on to recount all that God had done on behalf of his people. In a culture and time in which women were not usually respected nor followed, Deborah was one who commanded respect because of her confidence in God. She listened to the Lord and followed him. That's why people, including men, were willing to follow her leadership. She wasn't ashamed of her God. She was surrendered to him. Therefore, she didn't worry about what others thought of her worship. Her praise was for God alone. Point 3, this is my last point, the one that I spent a lot of time on. Women who worship set an example for others. In Exodus, when God led his people out of Egypt and through the Red Sea on dry ground, Moses and the Israelites came out praising God on the other side. Then Miriam picked up a tambourine and led the women in praise. Then Miriam, the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women followed her with tambourines and dancing. What a sight to see. Miriam sang to them, "Sing to the Lord, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has hurled into the sea." We see that in Exodus 15:20-21. Miriam didn't just follow Moses in worship. She led the women in worship as well. Our worship is always a witness to others. Again, I say, our worship is always a witness to others. And worship is much more than music and singing. Remember the woman with the alabaster jar. She poured out her worship on Jesus at great cost to herself. She had lived a sinful life and was most likely looked down upon by society. But when she heard Jesus was at the Pharisee's house, she had the courage to show up uninvited. When a woman who had lived a sinful life in that town learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house, she brought an alabaster jar of perfume. And as she stood behind him at his feet, weeping, she began to wet his feet. People are texting me, they're in the waiting room. I'm not sure why, but they're disturbing me from reading my iPad. Let me start that again. When a woman who had lived a sinful life in that town learned that Jesus was eating at the Pharisee's house, she brought an alabaster jar of perfume. And as she stood behind him at his feet weeping, she began to wet his feet with her tears. Then she wiped them with her hair, kissed them, and poured perfume on them. Luke 7:37-38. See, I know these scriptures. I got to get them out. Don't you think she knew that the pious religious leaders were going to berate her for even showing up, much less demonstrating such an extravagant outpour of love and devotion? When the Pharisee who had invited him saw this, he said to himself, if this man were a prophet, he would know who is touching him and what kind of woman she is, that she is a sinner. Jesus knew what was in his heart, and rather than rebuking the sinful woman, he rebuked the Pharisee. The leader had not shown the normal acts of hospitality for Jews in that day, washing the feet of the guests, greeting with a kiss, or providing oil for his head. Because she had come focused on Jesus, not caring what anyone else thought, she set an example of true worship for all those in the room. And Jesus commended her faith. Likewise, the widow who came to the temple to worship, putting only a small amount in the offering, caught the eye of the Savior. Jesus sat down opposite the place where the offerings were put and watched the crowd putting their money into the temple treasury. Many rich people threw in large amounts, but a poor widow came and put in 2 very small copper coins, worth only a fraction of a penny. That's how we should bring our worship to God, giving everything we've got, not worried about what others think, with our hearts focused, not on ourselves, but on our God. When we do, our worship will be commended by God, but we will also set an example for others that points to him. In the same way, let your light shine before men, that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. This verse isn't about doing acts of righteousness in order to be seen. Jesus goes on right after that to say that he should be careful not to do them to be seen. Letting our light shine means that we live a life of worship that points to Him and not us. Women who truly worship may erupt in praise like Hannah or Mary, but it won't be about them. Their hearts will be focused on God. They may be bold in their worship like Miriam, but they won't care what others think because it's not about them. And their worship may sometimes seem extravagant like the simple woman or not enough like the poor widow. But like Miriam, they will lead on anyway because their God is worth it. What about you? What about me? Will we be willing to give God the praise He is due, even if it makes, I'm sorry, people just texting me and texting me and texting me while I'm doing this. What about you and me? Will we be willing to give God the praise He is due, even if it makes us uncomfortable or if it makes others uncomfortable? Are we willing to be extravagant in our worship, giving all that we have? And are we setting an example of worship and spirit and in truth that will be witness to those around us of our great God? My prayer for you, my friends in the audience, is that we all be women and men who worship regardless of our own weaknesses, regardless of what others think, and regardless of how little or much we think we have to bring. Therefore, since we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken, let us be thankful and so worship God acceptably with reverence and awe, for our God is a consuming fire. Let's be women and men who worship unhindered, unashamed, and undeniably in love with Jesus. So that, my friends, is worship. Sorry for the interruptions. I guess there's a lot of tech glitches going on, but welcome to night 4 of the Wonder Woman Conference. It has been an absolute pleasure spending these last few nights with you, from our fabulous speakers who have come and delivered a word. I've heard so many different things from people. Feedback has been great, and I'm so excited that you all are enjoying this conference run. I am Dr. LaShawn. I am the president and CEO, or the global strategist, of My Sister's Keeper. My Sister's Keeper is the host. That is my ministry of the Wonder Woman Conference. And as you can see, we have had some dynamic speakers who have been in tune with our theme for this year. And as we continue on tonight and tomorrow, we will continue to embrace the theme for this conference with ending our last night of worship tonight, as well as our workshops on tomorrow. Let me say again that it is very difficult to be on the Zoom camera when people have their cameras off. We're not asking you to be blessed. We're not asking you to be dressed for church, but I would love to see your faces, because when we're in a virtual environment, I don't know if y'all was listening to what I said. I didn't even see no amens in the chat. So I don't even know if you understood or even liked what I said. So if you at least have your camera on, I can say, Sister Girl got what I said. So I want to welcome you again to night 4. I do want to let you know that tomorrow we have 6 workshops. You will be hearing from me throughout the duration of the day. And I do not want you to miss these powerful workshop presenters who are bringing the many topics that we've been talking about this week. We'll be talking about a woman in her creativity, a woman in her partner, overcoming weaknesses. We're going to talk about a woman in her warfare, all of the different things that we've been hearing about this week. And I want you guys to be ready to learn tomorrow. So I need you in place. I would love for you to have your cameras on. I know people have to be in and out, but I expect when you are here to be engaged with what these presenters have for you on tomorrow. We will start. Now, California, I know it's going to be rough, but it's 7:30 in the morning. I got to get up at 6 o'clock, so I understand. 7:30 in the morning for California. Those are Central Standard Time. It's 9:30, and the East Coasters 10:30. And I wanted to make sure we were accommodating everyone. So I hope to see all of you on tomorrow. So with that, we are at night 4. I want to first thank you for all of you who have been seeding into my ministry. As I explained to you, My Sister's Keeper was birthed out of pain because I knew that there was a purpose that God had given me. I appreciate the seeds that have been sown into the ministry. They will go to paying for this conference. They will also be going to our project that I've been talking about, the rehabilitation centers that will be built to aid assistance to homeless women. I come from two sets of parents. My father has a passion for, he preaches every Sunday downtown on Skid Row to the homeless community. My mother, who is been recovered from drugs 25 plus years, has a heart and passion to minister to women who are on drugs and other women who are homeless. And so that is why I have a passion to do the work for homeless women and men and families. And so with that, My Sister's Keeper will be partnering with a few other organizations here in Los Angeles to begin building rehabilitation homes where we can go in and give these people off the street and provide them what they need to get their second chance. Now, I don't know about you, but I've gone through many things and somebody gave me a second chance. So my heart is to give. My heart is to build in my community. And there's no better legacy that I want to leave than doing the work and rewarding the people who need to have a second chance. So thank you for that. If you are interested in donating to the ministries, we will put that information on the screen. Thank you, tech team, for that. So now we are going to, let me introduce our final speaker, and then we will hear a song. I've gotten so much feedback on the music, and I said this on the first night. This was the music from last year's virtual conference, and so we are excited that we were able to use it again. So thank you for those of you. Everybody's been texting about the music. If you go on my YouTube channel, you can find all of the clips of the music that is there posted for each night from last year, and it's the same clips. So please go to the YouTube, download it, listen to the music. It's there for you. So with that, our fourth speaker, as I mentioned before, I've had several women's conferences, and I always like to bring a man to the platform. I think it's important as women that, yes, we have these fabulous women conferences. It's all women, but at the same time, it's always great to receive wisdom from a man. And so whatever area that is, it can speak to your purpose. It can speak to you preparing for marriage, preparing for ministry, partnerships, whatever that is. And so for me, one of the things that I didn't really see at a lot of women conferences were male speakers. And so that is how we arrived with having a man on the flyer. Every year I get a bunch of inboxes. There's a man at a women's conference. So you heard it from me as to why we incorporate men, because men are a part of building us women up, whether you believe that or not. But we all could agree that men bring a vital part to us as women. And so I have the pleasure of hosting Rahson Jordan, who is from St. Louis. He pastors the Advancing Church, and he does a lot of ministry in his hometown. He is also a businessman who has many business ventures that are on the table. He has actually been very instrumental in helping me with branding my business, and I appreciate him for contributing to helping with some rebranding for the Wonder Woman conference. And so we're excited to have him here. He is excited to be here. And so Apostle Jordan, I'm going to turn it over to you after we hear our music for this evening. And again, I ask if there is any way for you to be on camera this evening. I would love to see all of your beautiful faces. And tech team, go ahead and play the music.
bless your name. Oh, woo. Bless his holy, bless his holy name.
Glory to God. I am so grateful for this opportunity to be with you all. God is up to something very powerful in the season that we're in right now. I want to acknowledge Dr. LaShawn for such a great and awesome job that she is doing with the Wonder Woman Conference. I've been on for a couple of nights. It's been powerful. It's been life-changing. And so I'm excited about being with you all tonight. I believe that God will speak a word that will inspire you and cause you to fully embrace the assignment of God that is upon your life. And make no mistake about it, each and every one of us have an assignment that God has given us that is specific to this time. And Dr. LaShawn, you're operating in that assignment. The very assignment that God has for your life, this is the moment and this is the time for you to fully embrace it and seize the momentum that God has given you. So I'm excited about what's happening because I believe that there is a major turnaround that is about to occur. I believe that God has favored you for this moment, and you're going to see traction like you've never seen it before. I promise to you, you're about to advance because God has prepared you. You didn't just show up overnight. You didn't just come out of nowhere. No, you came out of somewhere. And that place that you were in was the furnace. God had applied some heat to your life for this moment that you're getting ready to embrace in this season. So I'm very excited about all of the Wonder Women, because you are a Wonder Woman. You done came out of some stuff that would have killed others. And because you came out of it, you have to know that what God is going to do in your life is great, because you survived it for purpose. You survived it for destiny, and you've been shaped by difficulty. When you've been shaped by difficulty, I promise to you, you don't fold quickly, because you've been through some hard times and some challenges. And so there are people who are watching me right now. You've been through some difficult seasons, but I've been sent here to announce to you that your difficult season is going to usher you into destiny. The difficult season that you went through in your life and you felt like there's no way I'm going to make it out of this. God said you made it out of it because it was preparation for the palace. You're getting ready to see things you ain't never saw before, because God said to you, even before you could embrace it, that there is a queen in you. God said that to you, that there is a queen in you, and God is about to draw her out. So I'm excited about it. You get ready to walk in it. The power of God is going to be released in your life. So what I want you to do is go with me to the book of Esther, chapter 5. And then I'm going to jump to Esther chapter 8, starting with verse 3. Glory be to God. So Esther chapter 5, verse 1 through 3. And then we're going to go to Esther chapter 8, starting with verse 3. Glory be to God. I want to talk to you tonight from the topic, the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Esther 5, verse 1. On the third day, Esther put on her royal robes. On the third day, Esther got dressed, and Esther put on her royal robes and stood in the inner court of the king's palace, in front of the king's quarters, while the king was sitting on his royal throne inside the throne room opposite the entrance to the palace. And when the king saw Queen Esther standing in the court, she won favor in his sight. And he held out to Esther the golden scepter that was in his hand. Then Esther approached and touched the tip of the scepter. And the king said to her, what is it, Queen Esther? What is your request? It shall be given you, even to the half of my kingdom. He said, what is it, Queen Esther? Whatever you want, I am ready to give it to you, up to half the kingdom. Isn't this amazing? That the king is saying, Esther, you are pleasing to me. I have such favor for you that I am willing to give you up to half the kingdom. Let's go to Esther chapter 8, starting with verse 3. Then Esther spoke again to the king. She fell at his feet and wept and pleaded with him to avert the evil plan of Haman the Agagite and the plot that he had devised against the Jews. I'm telling you right now, there's a plot. There's a plot. But God has shaped, he has molded the wonder women that are on this live, that are in this Zoom. He has shaped and he has molded you to be the wonder woman that overcomes the bully. Whatever is coming against your people, I'm telling you right now, there is an anointing on your life. And you are getting ready to fight against every demonic plot, every demonic scheme, every demonic plan. God is getting ready to favor you in such a way that whatever you ask, up to half the kingdom, it is going to be released to you because of the favor that you have with the king. Glory be to God. Yes. So verse 4, when the king held out the golden scepter to Esther, Esther rose and stood before the king. And she said, if it please the king, and if I have found favor in his sight, and if the things seem right before the king, and I am pleasing in his sight, let an order be written to revoke the letters devised by Haman the Agagite. Oh my God. The son of Hammedatha, which he wrote to destroy the Jews who are in all the provinces of the king. Glory be to God. This young woman, this woman who is anointed, who is called of God, has been positioned to fight against this evil man named Haman. The book of Esther never mentions God's name, yet God clearly orchestrated all of its events. Esther, a Jew living among the exiles in Persia, who became queen of the empire. Haman, a Persian official, sought to eradicate the Jewish minority, but God had prepared Esther for such a time as this. The very thing that the enemy devised, the very plot, the very scheme that the enemy had in place to destroy a people, God would answer it with a woman. I want you to hear me on this evening. The very thing that the devil wanted to do to take out a whole people, God had a woman in waiting. He had a woman that he was preparing to enter into the inner court and win favor with the king and overcome every plot and scheme that the devil had devised. I want you to know, every Wonder Woman that's on this Zoom right now, that you are far more powerful than you might think in this moment. I want you to know that despite your past, despite the things that happened that wanted to take you out. Now, Esther was a woman who had experienced loss in her life. She knew what it was like to lose her mother and her father. But God had strategically placed a man named Mordecai in her life. It was her cousin that God had anointed a man to mentor her into queenship. Isn't it amazing that God would choose a man to pour into a young woman and position her to wear the crown? See, I want you to understand something, that your life can change in one moment. In one moment, things can shift for you. The book of Esther really focuses on honor. The reason why Vashti is no longer permitted to wear the crown is because she doesn't know how to honor the king. And because she doesn't know how to honor the king says, I cannot let her stay in the position that she's in. Because if she stays in the position that she's in, she's going to impact every wife that is a part of this kingdom. Because her example will begin to be modeled by other women. So he says, Vashti, because you don't know how to honor, you can't keep the crown. But there is someone, even when Vashti decides to not honor the king by doing what he asked her to do, there is someone waiting for the opportunity to come in and do what she will not do. I want you to know right now that even if it doesn't seem like you're going to be elevated to a high place, even if it doesn't seem like you're going to be positioned for greatness, I want you to know that there are people who don't know how to honor the king. And God is saying to you that in this particular season, I'm about to replace some people because they lack honor. Because they lack honor and you've been prepared and you've been groomed to honor, I'm getting ready to replace them with you. I'm telling you right now, you're being positioned right now for greatness. You're being positioned. And Esther was someone who God was preparing, molding, and shaping for destiny and for purpose. And regardless of what she experienced, I want you to hear me. Regardless of what she experienced in her life, she went through some difficulty. She went through some challenge. But it was in the challenge that God was shaping her. God was preparing her. What I want you to know about this is that your situation can change instantly, but your character can't. So what God does is he develops your character through difficulty and through challenge. He's developing you. He's growing you, even through your losses, even through your disappointments, even through your downs, even through your misfortunes. God is developing your character. He's getting you ready for your crown. I want you to know that each and every Wonder Woman in this Zoom right now, that you are being prepared for the crown. That's why you've been through things that other people haven't been through. That's why you went through challenges that were so difficult that it crushed you. Because each and every Wonder Woman had to be crushed before she got crowned. I want you to know right now that what God is doing in your life in this moment is positioning you. And even though you keep saying to yourself, where is it going to come from? When is it going to happen? God said, don't worry about when, just get ready. I'm going to say that again. Don't worry about when. He said, just get ready. Because all it takes is one call. All it takes is one moment. So don't worry about when. He said, just let me shape you. Just let me prepare you. Esther is spending time, and what one would say is just regular accommodations. She's living with her cousin in his house, and he's speaking to her, and he's pouring into her. And he said, Hadassah, which is her name, her Jewish name, Hadassah, there's something that's coming. I can imagine that Mordecai is preparing her for greatness. And he's saying, Hadassah, you did not make it through what you made it through to just remain where you are. But I'm preparing you for an elevation that you do not see coming. Here it is. Mordecai is not a punk. Mordecai is a man of integrity. Mordecai is a man that won't bow easily. When you have someone in your life that will not bow easily, do not run when they are challenging you. Sometimes you have to experience challenges low before you experience challenges high. God wants to challenge you right where you are, and he will place a Mordecai in your life to push you into purpose and to push you into destiny. And Mordecai is not going to feel sorry for you. I want to say that again. Mordecai is not going to feel sorry for you because Mordecai sees your future more than he sees your past. So God will place somebody in your life that will shape you and help mold you and help groom you and help grow you so that you can enter into the place that God has called you to enter into. Isn't it amazing that this young woman who looks like a shero, she's someone who God has equipped. He's placed a cape on her before he places a crown on her. This woman is a woman who has made it through difficulty, and she's been exiled from her hometown or her home nation. And God has brought her into a Persian empire, and God is about to elevate her to the highest position in all of the land. Can you imagine this Jewish girl who did not have her mother during the most difficult seasons of her life? When she was going through physical and mental changes, she didn't have a mother there to nurture her. She didn't have the commanding voice of a father to correct her. But yet God has positioned her, and he's placed a great anointing on her life. Aren't you glad that even though you may not have had all of the things that other people had, but God had something great in store for you? Aren't you glad that the fact that your mother was not there did not disqualify you? Aren't you glad that your father was not there, but it did not stop you? It is amazing when God chooses a Wonder Woman and he prepares her, oh my God, the way he desires to prepare her. She is a woman who God is positioning in the Persian Empire to save the Jewish people. Isn't it amazing that this young woman who knows what it's like to feel abandoned, isn't it amazing that this young woman who I'm sure struggled with her identity is being prepared by God for such an amazing elevation? Oh my God. When I begin to think about Esther, all I could see is this Wonder Woman. This Wonder Woman, this Wonder Woman, this woman who understands what it's like to be royal. Oh my God. Royal, but no palace. I want you to hear me right now. Royal, but no crown. Ordained by God for a high place, but nobody knows your name. She goes from obscurity to notoriety with just one call. She's called because there's a vacancy in the kingdom of Persia. She's called because God knows what's on the way. God knows what's coming. And he has a woman. He has a woman. This woman has been crushed. This woman has experienced challenges in her life, but it did not stop God's call for her. I'm so grateful that all of the Wonder Women who are watching right now, who are saying to themselves, me, God, you would choose me for such a time as this? God, you don't know my past. God, do you remember my past? Do you remember some of the things that I suffered? Do you remember some of the things that I've been through? I got emotional issues. Yeah, sometimes I'm triggered, God. Sometimes I think back on my mother and the losses that I experienced in my life. Sometimes I don't know who I am. Sometimes I got imposter syndrome. Sometimes I'm dealing with all of the things that I did not get in my childhood. You sure you want to choose me? You sure you want to choose somebody that's broken? You sure you want to choose somebody that goes through moments of confusion? You sure? Are you sure, God, that you want me to sit in the high place. There's a vacancy in the kingdom of Persia, and it's the highest seat in the land. And there is a young woman who has been prepared for this moment. And guess what? She knows how to honor. She knows how to honor. She knows how to honor. She's been groomed. She's been groomed. There's nothing like a Wonder Woman who's been groomed for greatness. Been groomed for greatness. There are many people right now who do not want to submit to the grooming process. Yeah, you got to be groomed for where you're going. You can't just show up there. You got to show up there walking like royalty. You got to get groomed right now. See, many people, they just want to go, say, oh, I just want to go. If I could just get there, if I can just make the transition. And God said, you can't make the transition until I groom you. What does it look like to be groomed? Well, it looks like to be pruned. Yeah, it means that God is going to cut some stuff away out of your life. And let me help you, because there are people who are being groomed who want too many people's hands on them. Let me say that again. There are people who are being groomed right now, and you letting too many people touch you. Yeah, there are people who are being groomed right now, and you find yourself searching for voices to affirm you. Yeah. Isn't it a dangerous thing to be looking for a voice to affirm you when God has placed you in a house? He's placed you under a Mordecai. He's placed you under someone who God has ordained and anointed to speak into your life. You don't need to be searching for no spiritual father. You don't need to be searching for no spiritual mother. What you really need to do is settle yourself down and say, God, who have you ordained to speak into my life and prepare me for where I'm going? You need to be saying to God, even if I don't like what they got to say, if they are saying what I need, God, send me somebody who will challenge me to go higher. God, I need some people that you have ordained to be in my life. Wonder Woman, stop letting everybody groom you. Stop letting everybody release prophetic words to you. Stop it before they lead you in the wrong direction. Yeah. This Wonder Woman knows that she can't have everybody grooming her. Yeah. She can't have everybody touching her. She can't have everybody pulling her aside, saying, I got a prophetic word for you. No, because God has placed people in my life, and I got a chance to see their integrity. Yeah. I won't be manipulated by your gift when I'm being groomed by character. I'm going to say it again. I will not be manipulated by your gift when I am being groomed by character. When I'm being groomed by integrity, I'm not going to be in awe of your prophetic gift when I'm in the house with integrity. Integrity is shaping me and molding me. And so I'm not in awe of your spiritual gift. I know that there are people who search you down, search for you and pursue you because they say how gifted you are, but I don't care how gifted you are if you ain't got no integrity. Because of where I am going, Wonder Woman, you need somebody in your life that is operating with integrity. Oh my God, operating with integrity. There is a position that comes open, and it comes open for purpose. Vashti has the crown stripped from her. And the men that are surrounding the king suggest that she is replaced. And they start a search. And the search leads them to many virgin women. But there's only one Wonder Woman. Oh my God. The search leads them to call in many women, but there's only one Wonder Woman. The woman that has been prepared by God through Mordecai, shaped by God through trials and tests. Oh my God. Ready for the moment. She's the right mixture. She's the mixture of struggle and grace. Oh God. She's been through some stuff, but she's been graced to be able to operate. And guess what? She don't look like what she's been through. She does not look like what she's been through. So when they lay eyes on her, all they see is her beauty, but she's experienced ashes. Oh Lord. She's experienced ashes. She's experienced some times in her life where she was mourning. But the prophet Isaiah said that God would give us what? Beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. This woman knows what it's like to go through pain, but don't look like the pain she went through. When she shows up, all you see is grace. All you see is the wonder of the woman. Oh my God. Isn't it amazing that the woman has wonder? The woman has wonder. You would have thought they were able to kill her wonder. Yeah. When they exiled her from Jerusalem to the Persian Empire, you would have thought they would have killed her wonder. I want you to know that your wonder has survived your exile. Your wonder has survived your disappointment. I want you to write in the comments right now, I still got my wonder. I still got it. I still got my wonder. Go ahead and write that in the comments. I still got my wonder. You didn't take my wonder. When you betrayed me, you did not take my wonder from me. I still got my wonder. Oh my God. I love the narrative. I love the narrative. Y'all got me sweating. I love the narrative. I love this story because it is so powerful. It is so powerful. I love what God is able to do when you have been groomed. Oh my God. When you've been groomed for a particular moment. And she is groomed for a moment. She finds herself chosen. And she spends some time, a year, the narrative says, in preparation. They're getting her ready. She's getting beauty treatments and all of this other stuff is going on. And can I stop for a moment and just parenthetically insert that your pain is about to shift. You're about to go from pain to being pampered. I want to say that again. You're about to go from pain to being pampered. This woman who has experienced so much pain in her life, when she's called, when she's selected, and she's brought into the kingdom, into the royal palace, now she's being pampered, and she can look back on the days when she had pain in her life, and she can smile and say, God, I thank you. You allowed me to go through all of that, and look at my season of pampering. Oh no, you're not gonna die in pain. The devil is a liar. I declare right now that you will not die in pain. The devil tried to kill you in pain, but you will not die in pain because you're about to get the call of elevation. Oh yeah, you are. You're about to get the call of elevation, and you're about to get pampered like you ain't never been pampered before. Some of you, you've been weeping and you've been saying to God, when am I going to get my break? When am I going to see this time of transition from this moment of pain? And the Lord told me to tell you, weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming to your life. Your pain is about to turn into pampering. I speak to you right now prophetically as a prophet that your pain is about to turn to pampering. Oh yeah, you're gonna have people that gonna wait on you hand and foot in this next season. And they're not gonna wait on you hand and foot because you just want to be bougie or you wanna call yourself a diva. They're not gonna wait on you because of that. They're not gonna wait on you because of that. They're gonna wait on you because God has ordained a moment and a season for you to recover from your pain. There's some people that's about to serve you. Why? Because you suffered. Yes. There are some people that's about to serve you. Why? Because you suffered. Because you suffered a while, he said, you're about to reign with me. Yes, you're about to reign. You're about to reign. Go ahead and write it. I'm reigning. I'm reigning. I didn't go through everything that I went through to just stay in the place that I've been in. I'm about to enter my season of reigning. I'm about to be in a high place. I'm about to be seated on a throne. I'm about to get my elevation. I did not go through all of that to die in pain, to die in rejection, to die in betrayal. I didn't go through all of that to stay where I was at. No, I didn't. No. I was being moved and I was being shifted. Esther gets her time of pampering. Gets her time of pampering. And the evil plot manifests. An evil plot manifests to take out the children of Israel, the Jewish nation, while she is sitting in luxury. She's sitting there not just so she can be queen. There is a plot that manifests. I want you to hear me right now. There's a plot that manifests. She has the crown. And there's a plot that manifests. God gave her the crown. She was positioned for such a time as this. And an evil plot manifests. An evil plot manifests. Haman gets upset at her spiritual father. Hear me. Hear me. I want you to hear this. Haman gets upset at her spiritual father, and he devises a plan to destroy the Jewish people. He devises a plan to destroy the Jewish people. The one who raised her, the one who shaped her, the one who poured into her life, he will not bow to Haman, who has been elevated to second in command in all the land. But Mordecai ain't no punk, and he ain't bowing to this wicked man Haman. And so there becomes this conflict between Haman and Mordecai. But his girl has been elevated to queen on purpose. Yeah, she is a hero. She is a superhero. She's been elevated to fight wicked Haman. Haman doesn't know it, but he's beefing with the wrong person. Let me tell you something. When a woman loves you, oh my God. When a woman loves you, listen, it's nothing romantic between Mordecai and Esther. She just loves and respects him so much that if he cries, she cries. And so when Haman devises a plan to take out the Jews, and he sees that Haman will not bow, he decides that I'm going to erect a gallows for the purpose of hanging Mordecai. Oh, my Lord. And Mordecai, he says, let me get to my girl. Let me get to the palace gate. Let me get to my girl, because I need her to understand the plot that's happening right now. I need her to know that this wicked man, Haman, who is second in charge in all the land, has devised a plot to destroy the Jewish people. So Mordecai puts on sackcloth and ashes, He puts on sackcloth and ashes, and he's right at the gate of the palace. And there are people who see him. And word gets back to Esther. Mordecai is weeping, and Mordecai has put on sackcloth and ashes. So she finds out that the one that has prepared her for this moment is weeping, and he's in sackcloth and ashes. And she sends one of the eunuchs that is serving her, go find out what's going on with Mordecai, because I heard about what's happening with him right now, and I need to know what's going on with him. She sends the eunuch. The eunuch goes to Mordecai. Mordecai explains to her what is happening in this moment. And he says, Haman has devised a plan, and there has been a decree released that gives permission for the Jewish people to be annihilated. He says to her, he says, listen, Esther, I know you're living in luxury right now. I know you've been pampered for a season, but you have not been called to the position that you're in just to be pampered. You have been called to the position that you are in for such a time as this. And the Lord told me to tell you, every Wonder Woman, the time is now. Yes, the time is now. What am I talking about? The time is now. The time is now for you to put on your royal robe. Yes, just like Esther did. She put on her royal robe. When she put on her royal robe, you know what she was saying? She was saying, it's time for business now. It's time for me to operate in my authority now. You didn't give me the crown for me to look cute. I'm about to put on my royal robe because I'm about to enter into the inner court. The inner court. The inner court. There are women right now. Women, wonder women, you've been prepared to enter the inner court. You didn't get all beautified and you didn't get everything done the way you got it done just for you to walk in with flair and walk in with class. You know, you've been made ready for this moment for such a time as this. Now, when people begin to think about worship, do you know they think about people raising their hands? You know they think about people singing songs and shouting hallelujah. But I want you to know that worship is not an emotional response to the presence of God. I'll say it again. That worship is not an emotional response to the presence of God. Do you know what worship really is? What it means to worship is this. It means to present your body a living sacrifice, which is your reasonable act of worship. Worship is really sacrifice. So when Mordecai challenges her, he says, listen, you've come to the kingdom for such a time as this. And Esther basically tells him, she says, Mordecai, if I go to the king and he has not called me, there is a penalty for that if he does not extend the scepter to me. And that penalty is death. Oh my God. That penalty is death. And Mordecai basically tells her, he says, listen, don't think you're going to be spared if you just chill out in your plush estate. Do not think you're going to be spared if God elevated you for this very purpose and you find comfort in the palace while we are losing our lives outside of it. He said, this is the time, this is the season for you to come on with the come on. You are there for such a time as this. Get yourself ready to go into the inner court. Worship is really about you having a willingness to die. That's what worship is. Worship is really you saying, I'm giving up my life. That's what worship is. Wonder Woman, I want you to know this, that worship is really you bringing your whole self to God and you saying to God, I'm giving up my whole life to you. And this is what Esther said. She said, if I perish, I perish. Oh, this sounds like a real Wonder Woman. Yes, it does. This sounds like a real Wonder Woman. She said, if I perish, but I'm going to perish pursuing purpose. I'm going to perish doing what God has called me. If I'm going to die, let me die in purpose. If I'm going to die, let me die in destiny. If I'm going to die, let me die going into the inner court. Yes, God said, I'm calling you from the outer court to the inner court. This is your moment to shift. And yes, you got to be willing to die. You got to be willing to die. You got to be willing to die. Esther knows what it's like to honor. She prepares the king. She said, I can't just ask him. I'm trying to help you to shift from where you are to actually preparing yourself to enter the inner court, because in the inner court is where you get every prayer request answered. You're going to see prayers answered because you would dare to die in the inner court. Yes, you are. You're about to see the things that you've been putting before God. God saying to you that, listen, you ain't even got to ask me for little things, because I'm so into you, Esther. I'm so into you, Wonder Woman, that I will give you up to half the kingdom. Oh, dear God. Wonder Woman, I'm telling you right now, the very fact that you are willing to die is going to position you to make a request before God that's about to turn everything around. I see things in your family being turned around. I see your finances being turned around. I see your health being turned around. Why? Because you were willing to die for this. You said, God, if it costs me my life, I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm going in. I'm not going to be fearful, for you have not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. If I perish, I perish. This is the attitude of a Wonder Woman. The king gives her everything she asked for because she knew how to honor. This whole narrative is about honor. Vashti couldn't honor, so she got replaced. Esther knew how to honor because she was taught how to honor by Mordecai. Mordecai knew how to honor because he was a man of integrity. Haman had no honor. He got hung. The whole book is really about honor and how God will elevate you when you operate in honor. So the king gives Wonder Woman everything she asked for. And that evil Haman, guess who took him out? Wonder Woman. It was a woman who took out Haman. Mordecai ain't never even had to fight him. Why? Because he had Wonder Woman on his side. Wonder Woman not only got everything she asked for, but Mordecai got elevated because of the Wonder Woman that was in his life. So I want you to hear me, because every Wonder Woman, you getting ready to go back and bless those that shaped you. You get ready to go back and bless those who poured into your life. Every decree that Haman got the king to sign off on was reversed because of Esther being willing to die. I'm telling you, the time is now. The time is now. God is elevating each and every one of you. This is your season of favor. This is your season of breakthrough. You are pleasing to the king. This is not just about how you look, but this is about how you live. Yeah. This is not just about how cute you are. This is about the fact that he qualified you. Yeah, this is not about your makeup. This is about your molding. Yeah, this is about what God has done in your life. Decrees are being reversed because of Wonder Woman. Yes, yes. Every decree that was released to cause destruction in the life of your family is being reversed right now in the mighty name of Jesus. Why? Because you dressed in your royal robe and you've entered into the inner court. This is your season of breakthrough. Every Wonder Woman, you've been prepared for this moment. Let me tell you, you cannot harvest where you have not honored. Your harvest is coming to pass because you've learned how to honor. You're walking in power and in integrity. I want you to know this, that this is your season and this is your moment to see the power of God manifest in your life. Wonder Woman, I know you've been through some stuff. I know there's been some attacks that have been waged against you. But God told me to tell you that everything you've been through, you've been abandoned, you've been rejected, you felt betrayed, you've been through so much in your life. And the Lord told me to tell you that all of it was to shape you. All of it was to mold you. All of it was to prepare you for destiny, because you're going to learn how to set an atmosphere so that you can get what you need from the king. Esther knew how to set an atmosphere. And she said to the king, this wicked Haman, he has devised a plot and a plan to annihilate my people. And the king said, not so, not so. Esther, because of the favor that's on you, I'm not only going to reverse the decrees, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get victory over every enemy. I want you to read Esther 8 and 9. Every decree was reversed, and the Jews got an opportunity to annihilate every enemy that stood against them. Now, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. I'm telling you right now, there's a great victory being won for each and every one of you who have went through the process and gave up your life in worship. And you said to God, if I perish, I'm going to perish fulfilling my purpose. And because you were willing to do that, I am telling you right now, this is your greatest moment. In the moment of your greatest sacrifice, you're going to see your greatest reward. In the moment of your greatest sacrifice, you're going to see your greatest reward. This moment, Wonder Woman, I promise to you, will shift your life forever. What moment? The moment you put on your royal robe and you walked into the inner court and you stood there and you waited until the king stretched out his scepter, which was a sign that you was favored by him. You are highly favored, Wonder Woman. And because you are favored, all of the things that you've been asking for, because you learned how to set an atmosphere, is going to be granted by God. But you're not going to just get your enemy removed. God is about to give you authority in the kingdom. You a kingdom woman. You a Wonder Woman. And God told me to tell you that you went through what you went through. And I placed a Mordecai in your life so that you would be prepared to wear that crown with class and character. Your integrity has went to a whole nother level. And the manifestation of the things that you prayed for, Wonder Woman, you're about to see them in your life because you learned how to fast and you learned how to pray and you've learned how to get ready to enter into the presence of the king. The king is saying to you, I favor you. I favor you, Wonder Woman. You're going to find victory in every area of your life. I'm telling you now, there's a victory that's going to manifest for you. That's going to manifest for you. God told me to tell each and every one of you, the time is now. The time is now. The time is now. Put on your royal robe. Put on your royal robe. Walk in ready. Your royalty, your royalty. I don't care what you've experienced in your past. You are royalty. And the best is yet to come for you. You think you had some authority? This next level of authority is going to be mind-blowing. This next level of influence that's coming into your life because you learn how to move and you learn how to do things and you learn how to be quiet and you learn when to talk and you learn when to dress yourself up in your royal apparel. You've learned how to move, and now God is saying to you, not only will you get victory over your enemies, but you're about to get half the kingdom. You're about to seat yourself in heavenly places. You're seated in a high place because you've been through the process. And God said, I blessed you and given you so much favor. Wonder Woman, it's time for you to win. This is your season to see victory over every enemy. Some of you, you had some enemies that sprung up and you were like scrambling. You didn't know what you were going to do. You were like, God, what is going on in my life? He said, I allowed them to manifest because I was going to anoint you to annihilate them. He said, I allowed them to manifest because I'm going to anoint you to annihilate them. You are Wonder Woman. Each and every one of you who are on this Zoom right now, you are Wonder Woman. You've been anointed to annihilate the enemy. The enemies that you see today, you're not going to see them any longer because you're Wonder Woman and you've been called to win and you've been called to reign and you've been anointed for victory. I'm so excited about your life. I am grateful for the word of God. I pray that you were inspired, that you were encouraged, that you understand that God has positioned you for such a time as this. I'm excited because your time is now. It is now. I want to challenge some of you. I want to challenge you on tonight. I want you to sow into this word. I really do. I want you to sow into this word. Why? Because Wonder Woman was willing to sacrifice. This is what really caused her to be positioned for increase. This is what caused her to be positioned for victory, is the fact that she said, I'm willing to give up my whole self. The greatest sacrifice that you can give is your whole self, not money. Money is low on the scale. It's low on the scale. So what I want you to do, each and every Wonder Woman that's watching right now, I want to challenge you to release increase right now. I want you to believe God on tonight. I want you to release a seed of faith because you believe God. I'm telling you right now, you're not going to be in poverty. You're not going to perish. I want you to release your best seed in this very moment. In the moment that we're reminded of Wonder Woman's sacrifice, her willingness to give her very life. Let me tell you, when you give your wages, it is like you giving your life. Why? Because you worked for it. You gave your life for it. You gave your time for it. And I want you to release your best seed tonight. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. My God. Each and every one of you. Each and every one of you. Am I there? Can you see me? Each and every one of you. I want you to release your best seed in this moment because God is going to reward you for your faith. So each and every one of you that will, I want you to sow. I want you to sow in this very moment. I want you to sow a $75 seed. I want you to sow it. A $75 seed into this ministry. I know it's a stretch. And I know some of you are saying, listen, I paid to be a part of this, and I've been given all week long. I want you to sow it in faith right now. I want you to trust God. And I'm telling you that every seed, as sure as I am preaching to you and I'm releasing the word of the Lord to you, every seed will produce a harvest. I'm telling you right now, I'm not just speaking to you. I'm not just trying to get something from you. God is trying to get something to you. And so I know many of you have been given this week, but I want you to know that this is fertile ground. And I want you to release the seed. I want you to release the seed, because you're going to see God answer the things that you've been asking him to do in your life. Esther came into the inner court and God responded. God responded through the king and gave her everything that she asked for and half the kingdom. Everything that was given to Haman was given to Mordecai. Not only did Esther see her enemies annihilated, but guess what? She got all of Haman's land. I want you to look it up. All of Haman's land was given to Esther. I see a transfer in property and in land. Where is your faith at? I want you, if your faith is on another level in this very moment, I want you to write in the comments, my faith has increased. I want you to write that now. I challenge each and every one of you to pause right now and write, my faith has increased. I want you to write it. My faith has increased. My faith has increased. Come on, write that. Write that. My faith has increased. I want you to declare it in this very moment. My faith has increased. My faith, my faith, my faith. I believe God, and I know that he'll never see the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. I'm so grateful that I had an opportunity to minister to you all tonight. It is my passion, it is my love to see the women of God reach their purpose and their destiny. Your time is now. And every enemy, every weapon that has been formed against you shall not prosper. Every plot, every scheme. I'm telling you, how do you answer the plots and schemes of the enemy? Well, you enter into the inner court with your royal robe on, with your crown on your head, knowing that I am royalty and I've been given access into the throne room of God. The throne room of God. God is positioning you for a deeper and more intimate relationship with him. And you're going to enter in boldly. You're going to go into the inner court boldly. And you're going to say, God, I know you're going to answer my prayers. I know you're going to answer my request. Why? Because I believe that I have been prepared for this very moment. You've been prepared for glory. You've been prepared for destiny. You've been made royal because your character has been developed by the person that God has ordained to help mold and shape you. I'm grateful for this moment. God bless you. Thank you, Dr. LaShawn, for allowing me to minister to the Wonder Women on tonight. God has great purpose in store for each and every one of you. God bless you.
All right. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Having a tech glitch here. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Something's going on over here. Apostle Jordan, thank you for that word on this evening. I don't know about the women in the audience, but my faith has increased. One of the things that we've been hearing about over some of the things that we've heard this week is about having someone of an influence that God has appointed in this season of our lives. I talked about it the other day. We talked about intercessors, we talked about prophetic words, but it's so important that we pray and ask God for wisdom when we're spending our time, our worship, our prayer time, that we ask God to really give us someone who's covering us in prayer and who is pushing us to our purpose. And so tonight, even just the Mordecai, just having a voice in your life that's helping you to groom you, all of the things that we've just been hearing about all week is a testament to why you all women have sold into this ministry. You have attended this conference and you've been here every night because we've been hearing a lot of the same things about how we are going to be catapulted in our next life. I know for me, I'm going to be honest, just hearing from God about the vision of what he has called me to do, what he wanted to happen this week, because I've been in prayer, I've been fasting, and there have been some voices that have been naysayers and that have said some things that kind of got me like, well, am I supposed to be doing this? But tonight's word was a confirmation that God will send you people that will put people in your life to speak and to encourage you. And for those who know me personally, I struggled a lot with validation and looking for people to affirm who I am. You spoke about the spiritual mothers and the spiritual fathers. A lot of times we feel like we need all of these voices in our lives. I was one who was looking for prophetic words. I talked about, even just going to, psychics to get words, to find out what the future is going to look like and what is it going to happen. And so we have to be careful about the voices that we allow in our lives, because everybody, I think I talked about this the other day, everybody has not been called to your life for the season. And so I hope that tonight reaffirms that we have to be careful. And the more that I have been in prayer, God has shown me that sometimes a spiritual mother or spiritual father can be damaging. And I'm not saying this to anybody who has a spiritual mom or spiritual dad, but that's something that I have been dealing with, because if you know me personally, I have to be very careful because I'm really guarded. And when people come into my life, it could be because of the talents that I offer, or it can be because of my kind giving spirit. And then I get close to you and then there's that knife. And so I have to ask God, what was the purpose of that person in my life, or those people in my life for that season? And God has shown me, I didn't tell you to go here. I didn't tell you to look for this here. And so those are the things that we have to really seek God on. So if you are hearing from God, if you're praying and you're spending time from God, allow him to show you who should be in your life. And, I can preach a whole nother sermon about this, but that just reiterates just some of the things that we have been seeing about being Wonder Women and being in the place where God has called us to be. So each night, I hope, again, that something has resonated from all of our speakers who have zoomed in to share something with us that as it pertains to this theme, even the things that I have spoken. Every night I have prayed and asked God to give me something. Some of it I wrote like right before, some of it I was all night working on, but I believe everything has just been confirmation after confirmation after confirmation. I pray that these small nuggets will help you move into your next level. My faith has increased. I'm walking away with tonight about, because we struggling a little bit, God. You said you're going to do this, you're going to do that, but I don't see evidence of it. But my faith has increased, and I am a Wonder Woman because I have grown from some of the losses and grown from some of the things that I've gone through. And let me tell you, before 5 or 6 years ago, I wasn't very transparent about the things in my life. My parents can speak to how I would hide things, but I would still walk out the house looking the part, but those things were eating up inside of me. And so I hope that my transparency will be able to change the lives of the women that I have been able to speak into. Doesn't matter. I told you at the opening of this conference, God told me quality versus quantity. And I've always had to deal with the numbers, but he showed me something different over these last 4 days. So I pray that you have received from those who have come in to minister on the various topics